Wow. You can see the beautiful sunshine this morning, looking into the sky and what the creation is, and the wonders of our creation are just, the Lord's mercies are new every morning, and He shows that by His faithfulness in the seasons, in the days. Wow, so beautiful. You definitely can't get the full effect on this video, but you can get part of it. So thank you for coming to this video. My name is Cindy, and I'm doing the morning car chats from New Hampshire. And I just started these daily car chats because when the leaves were changing colors in New Hampshire, it was just so beautiful, and I wanted to share with my friends and watch the changes over time in New Hampshire. And it's just so beautiful. And so we're headed to school this morning. It is 16 degrees. 16 degrees. It is cold and it is windy. This is the coldest I want it to be. Like, I do not want it to get any colder. I was born and raised in this state, and then for college I went to South Carolina. And when I was done with college, my husband and I were actually married, lived in South Carolina for 3 years, and my parents in the meantime had moved over to Wisconsin. And so we ended up visiting them there, and we really liked it. So we went to Wisconsin, and we lived near them as well. Like, the first house that they bought, they sold a house in New Hampshire, and they were able to buy a nicer house in Wisconsin because the economy was different. So they were able to take their money from their house here and buy a supersonic house in Wisconsin. And so that was interesting because they bought a really nice new house, beautiful house in a beautiful new neighborhood, but it was connected to an older neighborhood with smaller homes, and a lot of people had built those small homes and they lived in them their whole lives. So there was a house that went up for sale, and we ended up buying it. It was a small 2-bedroom home. I think we paid $36,000 for it, and it was great for us because we actually had one child, and we ended up having our third while we lived in that house. And it was right down the street from my parents. So when the kids were little, I could put them in a wagon and walk to my parents' house. And that was a really awesome spot. Then my dad, he was kind of a transient businessman. He liked to kind of move from location to location every so many years. So they moved from that house to another location, and it ended up that we followed them to that location too because they were going to a really great church, and we wanted to go to that church with them. So we ended up giving up that house, and then we rented for a while. Then we moved back to New Hampshire. We actually lived with his parents for a little while until we found the place that we lived in. So we moved around a lot when the kids were younger. So that could be a whole nother video, all the different places we lived. But we've lived in the same house now for 25 years. And that's the town that I'm on some boards in, and I also have been elected as the New Hampshire state rep from that town. So we've been here for 25 years, and now I'm headed to school out of town. I work at a school. It's about 40 minutes from my house, and that's because it's a private Christian school. So I don't work at the public school in my town, although I do serve on the school board. I have for the last almost 3 years. So today is a beautiful day, and I actually live about a half hour from the location that I lived when I was born. So I kind of went away and did some traveling, and then I came back. So this is kind of home for me. And I love it. I think it's beautiful. All the places that I've lived have their beauty and their pluses, but to me, there's nothing like New Hampshire. The good, bad, and the ugly. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you for the thumbs up. So this is my morning car chat. It's my second day of school of 2025. And today I'm just driving to school and showing the beautiful scenery. It is beautiful, but I'm really thankful that I'm in a nice warm car, and I have just under a tank of gas. So I'm probably going to get gas this afternoon, because in this cold weather I do not want to get stuck with no gas. Or maybe yesterday we got delayed because there was an accident and the traffic was piled up. So I was really glad that I was on a full tank. I saw in the news in Kansas City area, there's lots of snow, and there was some traffic jams that looked horrible. So I did say a prayer for them, because just pray that, the people in that situation would be okay. The Lord would show them his care over them. It would look like a terrible situation. And I don't know why the accident happened here, but when we drove by it, it was a trailer truck, and it was like jackknifed on the side of the road. I didn't see it happen, obviously, but it must have just happened because there were police just barely arriving at the scene. So, wow. This morning drive is beautiful. In spite of the cold, it is gorgeous. The clouds there's blue skies with fluffy clouds. I've enjoyed some painting. I've done some painting since 2020. And sometimes when I see stuff like this, I'm like, I wonder how hard that would be to paint it. Because if I painted it, it probably wouldn't look authentic. But obviously it's there. So, hi Kelly, thank you for coming. Kelly and I are going to be reading a book together. Yesterday I did not listen to the book. I did download the book, and I plan to listen to it. This week is a really crazy week. I have some family visiting from the south, which is a blessing, but I have school. I have meetings in town. I have so much going on. I have to go to the State House tomorrow, and so I have a sub coming, so I got to prepare for the substitute. And so a lot going on. And I have to also read the notes for tomorrow so that I don't look like I'm totally lost. So in New Hampshire, when you're voted as a state rep, you get voted in by the people, and there's nothing really required. I mean, there's things that you're expected to do, but you're not really working for a salary, so they can't really force you to do it. But obviously, you want to do right by the people that elected you. So the routine is that tomorrow we actually go in for our first day of convening. And I'm hearing that usually it's going to be on Thursdays. But this Thursday we are going to be inaugurating a new governor in our state. We've had the same governor for the last 3 terms, I believe, Chris Sununu, and in previous years his father actually was a governor, and his mother passed away this past summer, and I read her obituary. I didn't really know much about her, but I thought she must be a special person, She was the wife to a governor and the mother of a governor. And so I read her obituary, and it looked like she was very active in her community as well. She served on boards in her town, and she was on the school board. And the story is that she was a wonderful knitter, and I really love knitting too. And I said, if I go to the State House, I want to bring my knitting. Well, I went I went December. I went one time when we got sworn in. I brought my knitting, but I was a little shy to pull it out. But I think as I get more used to the place and everything, I'll pull it out, because there's lots of times, like, some of the guys told me they fall asleep. You know? They'll bring bills in, and people talk and they speak on the different bills, and it can get kind of boring, I guess. Probably not for a new person, but if you've been in there for a long period of time, I imagine it gets a little mundane. But so I imagine during those times I could do some knitting. And the story is about Chris Sununu's mother, that she was a knitter, and she also chaired some of the boards she was on. And so the story was that she could knit and be the chair and take notes all at the same time. Sounds like a true mom, a true woman of America, multitasker. So that was really fun to read her story, and I really enjoyed that. So there are knitters, just, there's not as many knitters these days. So you don't see them as much, but they're out there. Now, I'm really excited because some of the girls in our school have a desire to learn how to crochet. And I've had a course on Teach Me Truth, and it's about crocheting. And I have some videos I put up on YouTube, but they're on hide because people actually pay for those. And so I'm going to use those videos to teach my students at my school. So I was really excited. One of the other teachers, she's crocheting, and she's really enjoying it. She made some Christmas gifts over the Christmas break. And she has gotten some of the girls excited about learning how to crochet. So today I'm bringing in some crochet hooks, some knitting needles in case they want to learn how to knit, as well as a little bit of yarn. I'm sure we can find more yarn. We even have a dollar store down the street. The dollar store even sells yarn these days. And we'll see what happens. See what we come up with for creations for the students. So I'm really excited about that. And I teach math, so I teach 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade math. And it's not always, excuse me, it's not everybody's favorite subject necessarily. So it's great for me to be able to meet the students on another level. So thank you so much for subbing to my channel. I appreciate it. That's what it's all about. YouTube every day. And yeah, I really enjoy doing YouTube. It's a lot of fun. And I really enjoy connecting with friends. And so those of you who have subbed, I appreciate if you come back and just, let me know who you are and what are your purposes for being here. Maybe you have a channel I could watch some of your videos. The sky is so beautiful this morning. I can't even, it just doesn't cease to amaze me because I'm not a morning person, as I said. I was in the house for 25 years. Every morning I would get up and just, you're meeting the needs of your children. Everybody wants to eat. We did homeschool, so we would do breakfast. We always cooked on a budget. So I did do cereal, but a lot of times we would do eggs. We would do pancakes. We would do oatmeal type things. And we made our food from scratch most of the time when the kids were younger. And I did some weird things with cereal. I was always like, don't give my kids too much sugar. So I would buy the Rice Krispies, and I would buy those chocolate Rice Krispie things, and I would just kind of mix them. So I thought, you can't just eat that chocolate cereal alone. It's just too much. So I would mix it with the regular Rice Krispies, and my kids didn't always appreciate that, but tried to keep the sugar down. And I think I did the right thing, even though my kids didn't always appreciate it. And so a lot of my kids are healthy eaters now. They get it now. And some of them have children of their own. So now they really get it. But, you know, you want to make sure your kids are happy, and I like cereal because it's quick, and, you know, you put it with milk, and milk is always healthy, but, you know, not too much sugar. So when they were little, we did a lot with, you know, in the mornings, you get up, you meet the needs of your children, you know, clean up the messes. I always had everybody get dressed every day, and we tried to be in the living room at 8 o'clock. So I had to do a lot of work to get everybody in the living room at 8 o'clock. And it wasn't always like I did the work, but I had to, like, you know, encourage them to get it done and be in the living room and dressed. And wow, the sun's like really bright. And so the mornings were pretty busy, so I didn't get out in the morning, and I didn't always get to enjoy the morning commute like everybody else. Maybe somebody who worked and was in the traffic for 25 years, they would have the opposite feeling, like, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. It's weird how your perspective can be totally different depending on what you did in your life. Like, my husband actually drives every day for his job. I don't know how he does it. He works driving. He drives an oil delivery truck, and it's a lot of work. And driving all day would not be my favorite thing. But I don't mind driving a little bit. I like seeing the morning sun. But right now, I don't really like driving per se, but I do like seeing the morning sky. It's really fascinating to me. Now, I do have on my channel a couple videos about going to the beach. I live about 30 minutes from Hampton Beach, which is a very popular beach in New Hampshire. And I never really went much when my kids were little because the beach is so crowded. Like, there's wall-to-wall people. You can hardly find a place to put a blanket if you go at regular time. But I've discovered that you can go, you know, hey, go before, I think you can go before 7 o'clock. I'm not sure if it's 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock that you can go and early watch the sunrise, and hardly anybody's there. So you can park anywhere you want. Parking's free right until 7 or 8. I can't remember. It might be, I can't remember, but I think it might be 8, because I think I tried to get there for 7, and then we could stay there till 8. And then they start charging for parking. But there's hardly anyone there. You can just drive right up to the beach. You can enjoy the sunrise, do your prayers. And I've met some friends. We pray together at the beach. And then you just go on with your day. So that's really nice to be so close to the ocean. That's another thing I love about New Hampshire. It's so close to the ocean. And right now it's cold. It's 19 degrees. I'm headed to school. And once a week I do the morning, I call it the morning hello and the afternoon goodbyes. So Tuesday is my hello time and goodbye time once a week. So I'm going to have to be standing out in the cold for a little while to greet people as they come into school. Make sure they, you know, stay in the right spot. Okay. So this is the sun is really beautiful, but right around this corner, it is bright. And this time of day, it can be very in your face and a little bit dangerous if you're not careful. So it's weird how right at this part of the highway in this time of day, it's just really glaring. So pardon me as I keep my eyes on the road. This is a brand new part of the highway within the last few years. They've been working on this for many years and it's finally finished. So years before I had to drive through construction. So now it's all done. I don't have to drive through construction, but that sun glaring is a little rough. So we're on our way to school. Thank you so much for those of you who have come to this video. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your support on my channel. I've been also reading the Psalms, and it's been an encouragement to me, and I hope that it is to others, just to meditate on the words of God and his attributes, how he can help us in the hard times in our lives and strengthen our inner soul. You know, that's what I'm trying to do, is strengthen my core, as they say, you know. So when things happen, you're not fazed by it, right? I mean, things are going to happen in this world, and I guess I grew up a little bit spoiled. And I've done some hard things, but some things really still throw me off, and I'm like, why did this happen? And I need strength from the Lord. So that's what I'm working on. You know, one thing I've been really thinking about is the song, Jesus Loves Me, This I Know. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves